The banking industry has a secret name for people who handle their money perfectly. They don't call them responsible, they don't call them successful, they call them deadbeats. Sounds like an insult. But in the world of high finance, being a deadbeat is the ultimate badge of honor. It means you've become unprofitable. It means the system can no longer extract wealth from your stress. And there is one specific mathematical threshold where you officially cross over into the deadbeat zone, a number that changes the very chemistry of your brain and makes the largest banks in America absolutely hate you. That number is $20,000. But before I show you why $20,000 is the poison pill for the banking system, we have to look at the trap they've set for you below that line. If you have less than $20,000 in a liquid savings account right now, you aren't just saving up, you are surviving in a state of constant low-level financial combat. Think about your daily life. You are doing what I call micromath every single time you open your banking app. You're calculating the gap between Tuesday's grocery run and Friday's direct deposit. You're wondering if that subscription you forgot to cancel is going to hit today or tomorrow, and if it does, will it trigger a $35 overdraft fee? For most Americans, life below $20,000 is a series of what-ifs that keep you awake at 3 a.m. What if the transmission goes out? What if the HVAC unit dies in the middle of a July heat wave? What if the company announces another round of restructuring and my badge doesn't work on Monday morning? When you live below this threshold, an emergency isn't just an inconvenience. It's a catastrophe. A $1,000 repair bill isn't just a check, right? It's a debt spiral you enter. You put it on a credit card at 29% interest. You pay the minimum. The interest builds. And suddenly, you are paying the bank 3 times the cost of the original repair just for the privilege of being broke. This is exactly where the system wants you. They don't want you bankrupt. People can't pay fees. They want you just broke enough. Broke enough to need their protection, broke enough to rely on their high interest products, broke enough to be a consistent, predictable profit center for shareholders on Wall Street. In the United States, 60% of the population is living paycheck to paycheck. That is not an accident of the economy. It is the business model of the financial sector. Every time you feel that tightness in your chest when an unexpected bill arrives, someone in a glass tower in Manhattan is making a bonus. But everything changes the moment that balance hits 20,000. Why 20,000? Why not 10? Why not 100? Because $20,000 is the escape velocity of personal finance. For the average American household, $20,000 represents roughly 4 to 6 months of total living expenses. It is the point where you stop playing defense and start playing offense. At $20,000, the micromath stops. You don't check your balance before buying eggs. You don't panic when the check engine light flickers on. You realize that you are no longer a victim of circumstance, but a master of your environment. And this is the exact moment the bank realizes they've lost you. You've become a deadbeat because you've stopped paying the broke tax. Let's look at the first way. They lose money. The second you hit this goal, the death of the overdrafts. Last year alone, American banks raked in over $7.7 billion in overdraft fees. $7.7 billion. That is pure, unadulterated profit taken directly from the pockets of the people who can least afford it. If you have $5 in your account and you buy a coffee for $6, the bank graciously covers that $1 for you. In exchange, they charge you $35. That is an interest rate of 3,500% for a loan that lasted 4 hours. If a street gang did that, it would be called racketeering. When a bank does it, it's called a service fee. But when you have $20,000 sitting in your account, you are overdraft proof. You are a fortress. The bank can no longer trick you into a $35 mistake. To them, those lost fees are a direct hit to their bottom line. You have effectively shut off a faucet of passive income they were using to pay for their marble lobbies and corporate jets. And that's just the beginning. The real reason they want you to stay below 20,000 is because desperation is the most expensive emotion in the world. Desperation is the most expensive emotion in the world. When you are standing in a mechanic's shop with a car that won't start and $0 in your savings, you aren't a consumer anymore. You are prey. And this is where profit source number 2 comes in: desperation products. The financial industry has built an entire ecosystem of predatory lending designed specifically for people who live below the $20,000 safety net. Think about payday loans. These offices are everywhere in lower income neighborhoods, glowing with neon signs, promising quick cash. What they don't advertise in neon is the 400% of PR. If you need $500 to keep your lights on and you don't have a cushion, you'll sign anything. You'll pay back $1,000 over the next 3 months just to survive today. The bank and the lender aren't helping you. They are harvesting you. They know that without $20,000, you don't have the luxury of shopping around. You don't have the time to wait for a better deal. You need the money now, and they will charge you a premium for your panic. But it's not just the payday lenders, it's the title loans where you put your car up as collateral. It's the personal loans with 16% interest rates that arrive in your mailbox as pre-approved checks. They are phishing, and they know exactly what bait to use for someone with an empty savings account. However, when you have $20,000, these predators become invisible to you. You don't see the neon signs. You don't open the junk mail. If your car breaks down and it costs $3,000 to fix, you don't ask for a loan. You don't check your credit score. You simply move the money from your high-yield savings account to your checking account. You pay the bill. You move on with your life. You just cost that predatory lender thousands of dollars in potential interest. To them, you are a ghost. To the system, you are a problem. This brings us to the core of why this video is titled The Way It Is. Let's talk about profit source number 3, the credit card trap and the deadbeat label. In the hallways of the biggest credit card issuers in the world, the Citibanks, the American Expresses, they have 2 categories for customers. The first category is the revolver. A revolver is the bank's best friend. This is someone who carries a balance month after month. They buy a flat screen TV for $1,000, but they only pay the minimum balance of $25. Meanwhile, the bank is charging them 29% interest on the remaining $907. By the time that TV is paid off, the revolver is paid for 3 TVs. The bank loves revolvers. They are the lifeblood of the industry. The second category, that's you. Once you hit $20,000, that is the deadbeat. A deadbeat in banking terms is someone who uses the credit card for everything: the points, the travel rewards, the consumer protection, but pays the statement balance in full every single month before a single penny of interest can be charged. Think about the irony here. You are using their technology, their fraud, protection, and their reward systems for free. In fact, they are often paying you in cashback or miles to use their card. If everyone in America became a deadbeat tomorrow, the credit card industry would collapse in a week. They want you to stay below $20,000 because they know that without that cushion, eventually life will happen. You'll have a bad month. You'll have an unexpected flight to a funeral. You'll have a medical deductible to pay. And when that happens, you'll be forced to revolve. You'll transform from a deadbeat back into a profitable revolver. By maintaining that $20,000 wall, you are effectively telling the bank, you will never make a cent of interest off me again. You are taking their rewards, using their capital for 30 days at a time, and giving them zero profit in return. But the broke tax doesn't stop at interest. It's also in the very air you breathe while banking. This is profit source number 4. Account maintenance fees. Have you ever noticed how expensive it is to be poor? Most major banks charge a monthly maintenance fee, usually between $12 and $25, just to keep your checking account open. They'll graciously waive that fee, but only if you meet certain criteria. Usually, it's a minimum daily balance of $1,500, $5,000, or sometimes more. If you are living paycheck to paycheck, your balance hits 0 or close to it every 2 weeks. You can't maintain that minimum. So the bank charges you $15 a month for the privilege of holding your money. That's $180 a year. It's a penalty for not having enough money. But with $20,000, those fees disappear forever. You are now elite in their eyes, even though you're doing the exact same thing as the person with $50. You get the premium support, the waived fees, the preferred status. The system is rigged to reward those who don't need the help and punish those who do. The only way to win is to stop playing their game. You have to climb over the wall. You have to reach the point where you are so financially stable that you become a deadbeat in their spreadsheets. And while the financial loss to the bank is significant, the real shift, the one they are truly afraid of, isn't in your bank account. It's in your brain. When you cross the $20,000 mark, something happens to your psychology. You move from a state of scarcity to a state of abundance, and an American citizen with an abundance mindset is the hardest person in the world to manipulate. Everything we've talked about so far, the fees, the interest, the predatory loans, is just math. But the real reason your bank wants you to stay under $20,000 isn't just about the money they make. It's about the control they lose. When you live below that $20,000 threshold, you're operating from what psychologists call scarcity braining this state. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term planning and logical reasoning, literally starts to shut down. You are in survival mode. Your brain is flooded with cortisol, the stress hormone, when you're in scarcity brain. You can't think about where you want to be in 5 years because you're too busy worrying about where your rent is coming from in 5 days. This makes you the perfect consumer Why? Because stressed people are impulsive. Stressed people look for quick wins. Stressed people buy things they don't need just to get a temporary dopamine hit to counteract the misery of being broke. The system relies on your exhaustion. They want you too tired to shop around for a better insurance rate. They want you stressed to read the fine print on a financing agreement. They want you to just say yes because you're too overwhelmed to say no. But when that savings account crosses $20,000, the cortisol levels drop. The noise in the back of your head, that constant buzzing anxiety about the future, finally goes silent. You move into abundance brain. And an American with an abundance brain is a dangerous person to the status quo. Suddenly, you have the most powerful word in the English language at your disposal. No, let's talk about how this no manifests in the real world. Think about your job. For most people, their employer has total leverage over them. If you're living paycheck to paycheck with zero savings, you are essentially an indentured servant. You have to put up with a toxic manager. You have to accept a 1% raise that doesn't even cover inflation. You have to work the extra weekends for no pay because you cannot afford even 1 week of unemployment. Your boss knows this. The company knows this. They can smell the desperation. But when you have $20,000 in a liquid account, the dynamic flips. That money represents 4 to 6 months of walkaway power. If your boss treats you like garbage on a Monday morning, you don't have to sit there and take it. You don't have to quit impulsively, but you can stand your ground. You can negotiate from a position of strength. You can say, no, I won't be taking on that extra workload without a compensation adjustment. What are they going to do? Fire you. If they do, you have $20,000. You have months of runway to find a better fit. You aren't rushing into the next bad job out of panic. You're waiting for the right opportunity. This cushion changes your posture. It changes your tone of voice. And ironically, it often makes you more successful because people respect those who don't need them. The system loses its leverage over your labor the moment you hit $20,000, but it doesn't stop at your career. It extends to how you move through the world as a customer. Imagine you're at a car dealership. The salesperson is pushing a special financing deal at 7% interest. They're trying to close the deal today. They're using every high pressure tactic in the book. The person with $0 in savings feels the pressure. They need the car to get to work. They're worried their old car will die tomorrow. They sign the papers, the deadbeat with $20,000. They sit back and smile. They know they can walk across the street and buy a car from a private seller in cash if they have to. They know they can wait until next month. They can say, no, that rate doesn't work for me. Call me when you can do 3%, or I'm walking out that door. The salesperson has no power over someone who doesn't need the deal. This is what escape velocity feels like. It's the transition from being a product of the financial system to being a player in the economy. Below 20,000, you are playing defense. You are reacting to the world. The world throws a bill at you and you scramble. The world raises your rent and you panic. The bank hits you with a fee and you get angry but powerless. Above 20,000, you are playing offense. You are proactive. You are looking for opportunities. You see a stock market dip not as a crisis but as a sale. You see a business opportunity and you actually have the capital to seize it. The bank hates this because offense players don't pay fees. They don't pay high interest. They are the ones taking the bank's money through high yield savings, interest, and dividends. So if $20,000 is the magic number, the deadbeat threshold, why isn't everyone there? It's because the modern American life is designed to keep you at zero. From the buy now, pay later buttons on every website to the constant social pressure to upgrade your lifestyle the moment you get a raise. The system is designed to inflate your life, so your savings stay deflated. They want you to spend that first $5,000 on a vacation. They want you to spend that first $10,000 on a down payment for a car you can't really afford. They want to reset your clock to zero as often as possible. They know that if you ever reach 20,000 and keep it there, they've lost you forever. You've broken the cycle. So the question isn't just why does the bank want me broke? The question is, how do I stop cooperating with my own exploitation? In the final part of this video, I'm going to give you the exact blueprint to hit that $20,000 mark, specifically for the US market. We're going to talk about the gap strategy, the automation of your freedom, and how to deal with the inevitable life events that will try to pull you back below the line. If you're tired of being a profitable customer and you're ready to become a deadbeat, stay with me. This is how we take the power back. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, $20,000 in this economy, with inflation hitting my grocery bill and rent eating 60% 10% of my take-home pay. That might as well be 20 million. I hear you. But remember, your bank wants you to think it's impossible. They want you to feel so overwhelmed that you don't even try. Because the moment you decide it's impossible, they win by default. Reaching $20,000 isn't a miracle. It's a math problem. And like any math problem, it has a solution. Step one is what I call finding the gap in the United States. We are conditioned to spend exactly what we earn and usually a little bit more. This is the lifestyle trap. To break it, you need to create a gap between your income and your expenses. Even if that gap is only $100 a month, that is your beachhead. That is your starting point. If you don't have a gap, you have two levers. You can cut or you can earn. In the US market, cutting only goes so far. You can cancel Netflix, you can stop the Starbucks runs, and you can cook at home, and you should. But the real power is in the side hustle culture or upskilling, whether it's driving for a few hours on a weekend, picking up freelance gigs, or getting a certification that bumps your salary by $5,000 a year. Every extra dollar must be cordoned off. It is not spending money. It is freedom money. Step two, stop letting big banks use your money for free. Remember how I said they hate you for having $20,000? They hate it even more when you don't keep it in a traditional savings account. Most big four banks in America offer a pathetic 0.01% interest. If you leave $20,000 there, you are losing money to inflation every single second. Instead, you move that money into a high-yield savings account. There are dozens of reputable FDIC insured online banks offering 4, 5, or even 5.5% interest right now. On $20,000, that's an extra $1,000 a year just for sitting there. That's $1,000 the bank has to pay you. Instead of you paying them in fees, this is the first step in turning the tables. You aren't just a deadbeat now. You're a predator. You are extracting value from them. Step 3, automate your rebellion. Human willpower is a finite resource. If you wait until the end of the month to see what's left over to save, the answer will always be zero. The system is too good at tempting you. You have to treat your $20,000 goal like a mandatory bill. Set up an automatic transfer at the very hour your paycheck hits your account. If you never see the money, you never miss the money. You learn to live on what's left. This is the pay yourself first principle, and it is the only way to beat a consumerist culture designed to keep you empty-handed. Step 4, use your windfalls. In America, we have specific moments of found money, tax refunds, work bonuses, stimulus checks, birthday gifts. The average tax refund is around $3,000. For most people, that's a down payment on a new car or a vacation. For you, it's 15% of your entire goal achieved in a single day. When you get a windfall, you don't celebrate by spending. You celebrate by protecting yourself. You put it straight into the fortress. As you start this journey, the first 5,000 will be the hardest. It will feel slow. You'll be tempted to quit. You'll see your friends buying new trucks and posting vacation photos. But then something magical happens around the $10,000 mark. You'll start to see the momentum. You'll see the interest payments hitting your account every month. You'll feel that scarcity brain starting to quiet down. By the time you hit 15,000, you'll be obsessed. You'll find ways to save that you never thought of before. You'll negotiate your internet bill. You'll shop for cheaper car insurance. You'll realize that every dollar you save is a brick in your wall. And then one day, you'll log into your app and see that number $20,00. In that moment, the game changes forever. You are no longer the person you were when you started this video. You are officially a deadbeat in the eyes of Wall Street. You are a citizen with options. You are a worker with leverage. You are a consumer with a shield. The bank didn't build those skyscrapers by being nice. They built them by betting against you. They bet that you wouldn't have the discipline. They bet that you would stay stressed. They bet that you would keep paying the fees and the interest forever. Proving them wrong is the greatest financial return you will ever get. Reaching $20,000 isn't the end of your financial journey, it's just the beginning. It's the foundation upon which you will build your investments, your retirement, and your legacy. But you cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. You need this solid ground first. If you're ready to stop being a profitable victim and start being a deadbeat, I want to hear from you. Comment below with your current number. I don't care if it's 0, 500, or 10,000. State your goal and the date you plan to hit that $20,000 mark. Let's hold each other accountable. The system wants you broke. I want you free. If this video gave you the perspective you needed to start your rebellion, hit the subscribe button. I release a new deep dive every single week on how to navigate the financial traps of the modern world. Now, stop reading, stop scrolling, and go find your gap. Go stack that cash. I'll see you in the next one.